Hey everyone, I'm Bueller from Comics with Bueller, and you're watching Comic Book Addicts, and that's Larry Hama right behind me. Very cool. Later.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Comic Book Addicts. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. It's Monday, October 2nd, the beginning of a brand new month, and I'm ready for Halloween. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. Starting to feel like fall a little bit here in Chattanooga, but I love it though. Like I was saying, I hope that your week is off to a great start. Have a great guest tonight, but first I want to talk about a few things. I got a few things that are worthy of mentioning. Just got through watching Izzy versus NYC. I wanted to mention his live stream that he does kicking off the Monday night lineup, and it's every Monday evening. His show is at 6:30 p.m. and it's the Comic Book Weekly Pull List. It's a really good live stream, but if you've never checked it out, be sure to check that out at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's every Monday, kicking off the Monday night lineup. CBC Award finalist voting is in full effect, y'all. But I'm going to kick it over to Brian and let him tell you about it real quick.
Hey YouTube, Brian LCS with a Comic Book Community Awards update. Finalist voting is now open for the 2023 Comic Book Community Awards and runs through November 18th. So please visit cbcawards.org and vote for your favorites in 26 different categories.
Go vote. You have until November 18th, but don't wait. Go ahead and do it and get it out of the way. A lot of good content creators are nominated, and I wanted to thank everybody that helped Comic Book Addicts get nominated for Best Ongoing Series. Super proud of that, y'all. I wasn't expecting it at all, but I would love it if you guys would go over and vote for me. I would definitely love that. I work hard. I put a lot of work into this, believe it or not. So, but either way, though, I'm super happy to be nominated. I'm super happy about that. Y'all be sure you go vote, www.cbcawards.org. Comics Curing Cancer. We got Comics Curing Cancer coming up October 20th. It's going to run through the 22nd, and I am very proud to say that I will be participating in that this year. I'm doing a special Comic Book Addicts, and it's going to be on Saturday, the 21st at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be interviewing Jason Douglas, you guys. Jason Douglas is a 2-time Ringo Award nominated writer for his series Parallel, but he has a new series called Jane American, and the story's awesome, and the art is super, super sick, and some really cool covers. But he has battled with cancer, and he is a cancer survivor, and he is an awesome guy, and I can't wait to talk to him. So be sure that you tune in for that. A lot of cool things going on with comics curing cancer, though. It's going to be a great year. I think that we're going to shatter records. Last week, if you guys missed it, go back and check it out. Trish Forstner was on. She popped in with me and Rob and Chris and donated this amazing original. It's the original sketch for the cover for Darkwing Duck issue 7. So she's such an amazing person, but she was awesome enough to show up and donate that. So that was really cool. That's one of the things that you can look for that will be on auction, but there are a lot of really cool things to come. So be sure to save some money and be ready for that. It's going to be really cool. Let's see, we covered that. Oh yeah. If you guys aren't doing anything in the morning, I completed my Dazzler run today. Finally, after 2 years, I broke down and just ordered the rest of the issues I needed online. So I completed that. But sometime every now and then on Tuesday mornings, I will get online and do just random pop-in live streams. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to be going through the run, though, and checking it out and hanging out with you guys. So if anybody wants to pop in and hang out, I'll be live probably 8:30, sometime around 8:30 a.m. in the morning. But I wanted to mention that. Next week, Charlotte will be back. It's been a little bit since we talked recovery on here, so we're going to revisit some recovery next week. I need to check in with the chat before I get too far behind on this. Let's see what's going on in the chat. See, we got Trev, the shipping guru. He says, "What's up, Scotty? What's going on, Trev? Much love, brother. I hope you're doing well. Oh crap, I skipped ahead. We got Las Cruces first. My bad. Las Cruces was first. He says hooray and hello from New Mexico. What's going on, Las Cruces? Got Travis. What is going on, my brother? One half of Between the Lines. They will be live at 8:35 p.m. Eastern time this evening with Comic Journey. So it's gonna be really cool. Y'all be sure to check that one out. We got Ryan Riley. He says, "What's up, my peeps?" I can't wait to bring out the guest that we have tonight. He's got an amazing collection, y'all. Actual Dracula, what's going on, bro? Drac, super cool guy, super really, really amazing artist. If you've never checked him out, let's see, Roscoe, what's going on, my brother? We got Collecting with Durs. What's going on, Durs? Hope you were doing well. Comics by the Bay. He says hashtag Team Tay Tay. I don't know what that means, but what's up, Matt? I hope you're doing well, man. Let's see. Scrolling through. Where'd you get that? What is going on? He says, hello, all. Try to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Frank, my partner from You Collect What? What's going on, Frank? I hope you're having a good night, bro. Comic Cap Collectibles. What is going on, my friend? Scrolling through. Looks like we're coming to. Oh, no. We got Justin, Three Good Nerds. My brother Justin, what is going on, man? I hope you're doing well. Collector 6. We got a good crowd in here tonight. Collecto 6. I'm sorry. He says, hey, crew. I don't think I've ever seen you in here, man. Welcome. Black Boxed. Silver and Bronze says hello. What is going on? I hope you're doing well. Tony Comaverse. What's going on? Hope you're doing well out there in Arkansas, brother. Let's see, running through. All right, yeah, I think we've got it all. Let's bring out the guest. My guest this evening has one of the most insane golden age comic book collections that I've ever seen. And is an avid collector and can be found battling it out with Biggie Shack and crew on Friday nights, as well as showing his passion for expensive paper through his own channel and on his IG, Comic Collector Geek. But guys, help me welcome Allan to the live stream.
Hey. I like the applause track. That's good. That's really nice.
How you doing, man?
Good. So yeah. So you're returning the favor. I interviewed you on my channel, and now it's like now I'm on your channel. It's really
yeah. And I'm so glad to have you, man. You have, like I was saying before, you have probably one of the coolest golden age collections I've ever seen, ever. And you're showing off some of it behind you there. But
yeah,
tell us a little bit about yourself for those at home that may not be familiar with you.
I'm just like a typical collector, hoarder kind of guy. I've been collecting since I was a kid. I fell in love with collecting comics because I have that collector gene. I collected coins originally and then got into collecting comics and then just, kind of went crazy with collecting comics. I think comics in a way are kind of cooler than coins because you get the whole story, you get the, the full picture, they're quite nice. Actually, I brought the comic that kind of inspired the whole comic collecting journey with me. The actual one, my first comic that I bought myself.
I was actually going to ask you what got you into the hobby.
Is this one? This actual book. So this is Howard the Duck #1. This was on display on the wall of my coin shop, like the shop that I go for my coin collecting. And it was like $10. It was $10. It was up on the wall. I was like, wow, this must be like, what is like, I always thought comics were kind of just like entertainment, but not something of value. You know what I mean? Like, because my parents would give us like Donald Duck and all these kind of like cartoon kind of ones. And then, so I saw this in the coin shop and I was like, oh, comics have value, and $10. That was like, that might have been $1 million back then in my mind. It's like this huge amount of money. So this must be the most expensive comic ever. So I was like, I was determined to get this comic. So I saved up my money and bought Howard the Duck #1 for $10.
Now, what age was this?
This is like 1981 era, somewhere around 81, maybe 82, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Ever since then, I've been collecting comics and, putting more and more aside. So yeah, but I really got big into collecting in the 90s, to tell you the truth, because that's when I was free from the parents and I could buy whatever crazy comics I wanted to buy. So
Well, tell us a little bit about the type of comics that you like to collect. What are your favorite comics to collect?
so generally the kind of comics I collect are the ones that are like feature good girl, I would say. Like, sexy girls on the cover, basically.
Pin-up
Uh,
style?
Pinup style, sort of. So, as I said, I was mainly influenced by the 90s. And if you remember the 90s, there was a lot of like bad girls, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Lady Death, Vampirella, she, Lady Rawhide, um,
Loved
uh,
Lady Rawhide.
and like a Psyblade, or like all these like characters, like these female characters, just sort of dominated the 90s, and I really got into especially Vampirella. So and I'm one of those people that when I collect, I always want to get the first appearance. That's kind of my collecting style. So I was really
Okay.
into trying to find out where Vampirella got her start, and then I found out that it was in the magazines. And at the time,
I was
magazines
in
were
on that.
considered kind of lame. Like nobody collected magazines. Everyone thought, magazines were worthless because
Right. Right.
they were just like they were junk at that time. So I was picking up picked up the complete run of Vampirella dirt cheap, like $1 or $2 per issue. And like
Wow.
even
How
number
cool.
one, I spent the most I spent were on issues number 1 and number 3. And I spent like maybe $25 on number 1, that kind of level. And that was like a lot of money to spend on a Vampirella book. So
It paid off too, because those are worth quite a bit of money
yeah,
now, correct?
it's in the thousands now, but
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, so I really liked Vampirella, so it got me into and so that kind of style is like, even though I collect a lot of other stuff, you'll notice like a lot of the books that I collect, like if it's
Vinny.
pre-code horror,
Yeah.
it's still got like some good girl element to it. It's like some sexy girl on the cover somehow. Like uh, you know, I kind
That's
of
awesome.
get into those things. So Collecto6, by the way, is a good friend of mine. He's got an amazing
Oh,
collection as well. So his collection kind of rivals mine. It's like sort of high grade collection.
that's cool. Well, welcome, Collecto6. I just knew that I'd never seen his name in the chat before, but welcome. Glad you
Hmm.
could make it.
Yeah.
Uh well, I ask everybody this, everybody that I have on that collects comic books anyways. What's like your earliest memory of comic books?
So my earliest memories is like as I said, my parents would buy me like Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, Richie Rich.
I used to
Um,
get Richie Rich.
yeah, but we'd get it in like for Christmas, like in the stockings. So we would get my parents would buy the 3 packs. I remember, and they'd roll them up and then stuff them in the stockings.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
so it's cool, but instantly they're, the value is they're no longer mint.
Yeah.
But so that, because they were always in that condition, that's the way I kind of didn't really feel like comics had that much value, because we always got them in sort of beaten up condition as it started. Actually, it turned out that later on I found out that one of the comics that they had done that was it was a rare variant that only available in Canada. And if you
What?
can find a high grade copy, it's worth thousands of dollars. And I still have
Wow.
it, but it's really beaten up. It's just like totally
Uh,
trashed. But
at least
even
you
in the
have it though.
trashed version,
That's
it's like a
cool.
few hundred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At least you still have it. Hey,
Yeah.
Travis was asking, what's your favorite Silver Age comic book that you own?
Um, I'm not sure.
Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off
no, it's
like that.
fine. It's
I
fine.
just
I'd maybe say something like maybe like
That's
a
probably a
Hulk,
hard
my
one.
Hulk 1, or like X-Men
That's a good
1.
one.
I like the big keys. Like that's the thing for me. I like having that first character appearance. So I really like the Hulk. That was a hard one for me to find, even get the book. It's not
Yeah.
as like X-Men 1 you can pick up pretty easily actually if you have the money. You know, I mean, it's not like a cheap book
If you have the money.
if
Yeah.
you have the money. But Hulk is like, if you have the Hulk is like hard to find, and you have to have the money. It's like both. So it was
Yeah.
just it was a bit of a harder one to get. So I was
Because I have been able to find it. I have found it. I just didn't have the money for it. So yeah,
So you have to have both.
you
It's
have
like,
to have both.
so I was actually fortunate that I don't know. I think what happened was my local comic shop had it. Okay.
Mhm.
And it was the husband that bought it. I think he paid 8,000 US or 9,000 US for the copy. And then I called
Okay.
because I found out that they had it. And I was like, okay, talking to the wife. Now the wife said that, oh, we'll let it go for cost. But instead of saying US price, she said Canadian price. Okay. So what happened
Okay.
was it was like a 30%, because Canadian dollar is much lower than the US. So it was like a
Right.
30% discount right off the bat.
Right.
And then I actually worked out an extra 10% discount. So I got it like they lost money on it, like big money on it.
Wow.
Um
Okay.
and so I paid, I think like
So
it'd be about
Spider-Man.
I think it would be equivalent to about 5 to 6,000 US that I paid
Wow.
for it, and it's like a 2.0.
Wow, man. You
Yeah, so
stole
it was,
that.
yeah, so basically I stole
That's awesome though.
and
That's
then they let
killer.
me do it in payments too, which was really nice. So you know, I
That's
could,
that's been the key to me being, which I don't have like any big issues like maybe on the level of some of your books, but
mhm.
the way that I've been able to get some of my bigger books in my collection was having people that would work with me and let me pay a little bit at a time or make a trade towards it, and that's worked well for me.
Oh yeah, actually, Amazing Fantasy would be another book that I really like from Silver Age. But yeah, somebody said, "Hey, Spider-Man," so,
Oh yeah, so
that'd be another big one. But
is he?
that's another easy book to get. Strangely, Amazing Fantasy, you can pretty much every auction has it. It seems like, you
Okay,
know.
yeah, I have seen them up for auction in the past year.
Yeah,
So yeah, they do come up.
like I
They do
watch
come up.
heritage auctions, and every single heritage auction has it at least once.
So CJ said, so you hustled the guy for that. Yeah, he did a little bit.
Basically, I didn't mean to. It was
It's what you got to do, though.
it wasn't like I was even trying to hustle the guy. The wife just sort of misquoted the price. And they actually honored that. So yeah, it kind of worked out.
What is it? I wanted to ask you because I'm really into the pinup style covers myself. I just don't have many. But what is it about the like girly girl covers
I
that
just like sexy
that
girls,
does it for
basically.
you? Just like
I
sexy.
just like
Okay, that's a
sexy
good
girls.
answer.
You know,
That's a good enough
I don't know,
answer.
something about I don't know, I like women. So I don't know, I get I can appreciate the female form, I guess. And something about I actually like when it's sort of like, I'll give you an example of a comic. Just here's a random one. I have a bunch of comics that are all pre-code horror in front of me, so
Yes.
I always just grab these. So this is
Yes.
an example where you got sort of this. I like this kind of humor, this kind of dark humor, I guess. So you got,
Okay.
you got the pretty girl in the middle, right? And you
Okay.
got her husband in the background with an axe, just about to swing it.
Okay. She's about to
and
get
it's like
whacked.
and
Yeah.
it's like a Christmas cover, and you got the Christmas tree, and then you got the coffin. Merry Christmas to my wife.
Wow,
And
that's awesome. I love
it's
that
like a
cover.
coffin. It's a crazy cover, but it's good girl plus a bit of kind of dark humor. I kind of like it. So
Yeah, that checks off several boxes. That's
yeah,
really
that's what I'm
cool.
saying. So that's the kind of style. Like I like a little bit of that. And then one
Well, when
series
it
that I
when it
always
comes
show.
to when it comes to the female form, do you have particular artists that you feel like pull it off better than others, or there other favorites that you have?
So some of my favorites are like Alex Schomburg, Matt Baker. Those are the golden age ones.
Okay,
But I like Adam Hughes,
nice.
Frank Cho, Sotomaki, um,
All very good ones.
J. Scott Campbell. You know,
Oh
so
yeah.
And then there's like a whole bunch. And I actually like things. I actually like, because of maybe my childhood upbringing where I was like very influenced by cartoons, like comics, like cartoon style comics. I
Yeah,
kind of like the Bruce Timm style as well. I like that kind of good
I love
girl
Bruce Timm.
plus kind of sexy good girl.
Hmm.
I should have thought I have really cool covers that he did that are like, it's like just, it's kind of a
Has like a
mixture of the
funny
two.
page element to it, like funny page a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So another one I like is, I always show this one. I love this book, like Zombie
Zombie
Tramp.
Tramp.
So it's like,
Sick.
you see what I'm saying? It's
I,
like kind of cartoon style a little bit. This is Dan Mendoza,
I
and
love that. That's really cool.
it's really,
So
and the
we got
funny thing is, it's such a rare book. Like, there's less than 10 of these on the census.
what? Wow.
Yeah,
That's a really cool cover.
it's a cool cover.
Alan Crabtree wants to know what is the best story for money, maybe in your collection and in the overall market?
Best story.
What is the best story for money, maybe in
So
your collection
so
and
I was
in the
actually
overall markets?
here. This is kind of a bit of a pun on that, I guess, but it's actually a
Okay.
great story. It's probably the best it's my favorite comic book story, and I brought it with me just because I figured you might ask me about what's my favorite comic book story, and sort of money
Definitely.
and story, if that makes sense. You'll see. It's Uncle Scrooge, and he's got money
Oh, I
on the
love
cover.
that. I
Okay, so
love that.
this is like Uncle Scrooge number 15 from 1956.
That's
And
so cool.
the story is the second richest duck. And it's just a really cool story. It's like, um, the story of who's the richest in the world. And it's Uncle Scrooge versus this other guy. And they're just battling it out to find out who's the richest duck. And it's a fun story. It's like,
It sounds fun.
yeah, it's really cool. And it's like, there's just so much in it. Like, you can tell like when they crafted these stories, and it was really, they crafted the stories, they put so much thought into how the character thinks,
Hmm.
like his stinginess, his like, you know the whole crux of the story is that he doesn't throw anything away because it might have value. So he even keeps like pieces of string, and then
Yeah.
he'll, you know how you find pieces of string everywhere. So he
Yeah.
finds those and then ties them to like other pieces of string that he found, and he's got this big ball of string that he's collected over the years.
That's
And
hilarious.
but his nemesis, which is who is fighting for that number one ranking, does the exact same thing. It's just as stingy, just as frugal, and they both have these big balls of string, and they're battling it out to see who has the biggest ball of string. And it's just,
That's great. I
it's
love that.
it's kind of cool. It's like, so that's the, the kind of story, and it's really well. It's just, it gets into their whole psychology and stuff. It's a cool story.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. What are the different reasons that, or for what different reasons do you collect?
So for me, I don't know. I have a very competitive personality, and a
Okay.
very addictive personality, I guess I would say.
Me too.
So I really, you know, somebody will show some book. Like, I think we just did like a show, recently on Biggie's channel, and some people showed
Okay.
some pretty cool books. And I was like, hey, those are pretty cool books, but I didn't have them in my collection. So I went out and literally bought all the ones that I liked from the show. So,
That's awesome. I
that's the
love that.
kind of weird personality I have. So
Yeah,
like,
that's you. That's Alan. That's the Alan that I've grown to know.
yeah, so I'm kind of like that kind of person that just like, oh, that's, I'll sort of
That's so
downplay it.
cool.
Like, I'll say, oh, that's nice, and like, I'm not really interested, but I'll go out and buy it.
I love that. That's
So
so
yeah,
cool.
so that's kind of crazy person I am. So
I love that. What are some of your goals that you have for your collection?
so I'm really into, I have like a big long want list that's actually never getting shorter. It just doesn't get shorter.
So
even
you
though I
do the
get
list too, the whole written list of books that you
well,
want?
it's like I'm a strong believer in Notepad on the computer. I
Me,
have
me,
like all these notes on my like
me
not
too.
Notepad, but I mean the text documents on
Oh, actual Notepad applications.
yeah, it's really
Okay.
dumb.
I have those
It's
too.
really lame. It's actually the lamest way of doing it, but so I have like all these notes where I have like all the books that I want. And like I put like the way I did it was I put on every single book that is cool, that I think is cool, like Action One, Detective 27, every
Oh,
big book
wow.
that you can imagine, right? Like all the, what I would say, this is, if I had all these books, I'd have the coolest collection in the world, right?
Yeah,
Batman one,
obviously.
and
Just a
so I
massive.
put all those books, and then I put like some. So you'll see like on the list, it'll be like Detective 27, and then right next to it is like some lame like dollar bin book that I just thought was a cool cover. It's like
That's cool.
it's just mixed in there. So my goal is to like I'd like to get some of those big books. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a deal, and I as I said, it's just it. I believe in the idea of paying in installments. I'm actually working on a deal where I'm one payment away. This month is the last payment. Where I'm getting Detective 38.
Now, which
And
one is Detective 38?
Detective 38 is actually a very famous cover. It's the
Okay.
one where you see Robin for the first time, and he's jumping through the there's like a little ring, and he's jumping out,
Uh-huh.
and it's like the first appearance of Robin in comics.
I think I know. I
It's
think
like Batman,
I'm
and
gonna
he's
look
like
it up.
holding a hoop thing. You know how like they would always smash through some
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like
yeah,
smashing through like
yeah,
the page, almost breaking the fourth wall, sort of.
not breaking the fourth wall, but you know how like they would have like when you introduce somebody, you get like a big hoop with paper across it, and
Hmm.
then they smash through the paper.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's the cover. So yeah, it's a very famous cover. I'm just in comic. I'm picking up a fairly high grade copy of that.
Wow, that's
Restored
gonna be
copy.
awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Hey,
some.
when are you supposed to pick that up?
So probably it'd be at the end of this month.
Oh, that's
Once
awesome.
I have one last payment, and then they'll send it probably.
Hey,
They're usually
Spider-Man
pretty
has
quick
a
with
really
it.
cool. I'm sorry.
Spider-Man, do you collect any memorabilia of characters from the comics?
Yeah, I
Um,
thought that was a really cool question, actually.
so memorabilia, actually, Collecto 6, believe it or not, the guy that was chatting there, he actually gave me some cool memorabilia.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. Um,
Shout out Collecto 6.
yeah, so here's the thing he gave me, and I have it right next to me, so that's why I can show it. So it probably doesn't look like much, but sure. Can you see it?
I can see it. Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
crest of some sort.
Yeah, it's a crest. So when back in the day, during the Golden Age, we have Justice League of America, right? You think about Justice League of America. The previous
Yep.
version was called the JSA, which is the Justice Society of
Society
America.
of America. Yeah.
And they actually had like a fan club. As a kid, you could join up and become a honorary member of the JSA kind of thing. Like a little
Awesome.
kids fan club, and they would give like little like badges or little like buttons that you could get, and this is like an imprint of that.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, so
That's
it's
a really
it's a
cool
little
gift.
little collectible, so it's kind of cool, and these are quite rare actually. so
I would
so
imagine so. Like a lot of those mail off and giveaway type things are really rare. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really cool. I'm
so
super
yeah.
sentimental, so I would enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. And then I have like my Funkos. I have like a bunch of Funkos and stuff like that.
Oh, sweet. I collect some of those. I get those sometimes too.
Yeah, and
Hey,
then I have like
Collecto was asking, why do you collect SOTI books? Did I pronounce that right?
Sodi. Yeah, I pronounce it Sodi. Some people say Sotai, but I always say Sodi. Um, Sodi just stands for Seduction of the Innocent.
Oh, okay.
And it was basically, I'm a big history buff. So part of the reason I like first appearances, I like that historical element, right?
Yeah,
And
makes sense.
Seduction of the Innocent was a book that basically led to the end of the golden age of comics. So the Comic Code Authority came in play and stuff like that. So it basically revolutionized, well, in a bad way, it changed the history of comics. So the Seduction of the Innocent was basically a book that was complaining about how comics were having a detrimental effect on children. Okay. And that they were causing kids to be juvenile delinquents and going around terrorizing the world and stuff like that. So basically inside that book, though, they listed other books. They said these are the comics that are destroying young kids' minds. And actually I brought a few with me just to show you.
What? That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to see
I have to
those.
grab them. Okay, so I had to grab them. So I'm going to show you a bunch of these were the ones that were mentioned inside of the Seduction of the Innocent.
Oh,
So
there are
this
some
is
beautiful
Phantom Lady
covers.
So this is Good Girl, Matt Baker, and it's also
Yeah.
from the Seduction of the Innocent. So it's a bunch of things, a bunch off the checklist there.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is like, mentioned because it's kind of sexy, and this is what is this teaching to the youth, right? It's like, so this was mentioned in the Seduction of the Innocent for that reason. That's like a bit. And then we got Crimes by Women, another one.
Ooh,
and this is mentioned
beautiful.
because of women behaving badly, and in polite society you shouldn't have women behaving badly, right? So
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's awesome. I love
yeah,
that.
this is Crimes by Women.
Hey, Geek Out with Roscoe wants to know what are your thoughts on Street Sharks issue number 1?
That's a book that should be in the trash. If you find it, you should definitely light it on fire.
I had a feeling there's an inside joke going on there.
Yeah, it's like but it is, strangely, it's one of those books that's considered to be more valuable than Wonder Woman 1. I don't know why. I'm not sure why, but Roscoe would probably know the answer to that, though.
Wow, that's crazy. What's going on here? Good evening.
Okay, one more. I'll just show one more here. This is
oh no, show as many as you'd like.
Yeah, so this is Crime Detective Comics number 9. It's actually the highest graded
I've
copy
never
of it.
seen a label that color before. Explain the
label.
This
is a pedigree.
Oh, pedigree label.
Yeah, so this is from the Promise collection.
Wow.
So the Promise collection was it was like 2 brothers. And what happened was the younger brother, I believe, he had a huge comic collection, just a really amazing comic collection. But both brothers had to go to the Korean War. And the younger brother asked the older brother, if anything happens to me when we're at the Korean War, look after my books, like take care of my comic collection. So the brother promised that, and basically the younger brother died in the Korean War, and the older brother kept the promise. And when he died, they found the collection that he basically kept in pristine condition. So it's called the Promise Collection because of the promise the 2 brothers made.
I can't believe, like I've actually heard a little bit about that before, and that's amazing. You actually own a book from that collection.
Yeah, so this is from that collection, but this is actually kind of a cool book for also Soti, or Seduction of the Innocent, because it's one where now the guy that wrote the Seduction of the Innocent is Frederick Wortham, and he was like a psychologist, okay? And he worked at youth, like in like these like troubled youth facilities, and so he observed that all these troubled youth were reading comics, okay? So he assumed, oh, it's comics that makes them troubled youth, of course. So that was his kind of reasoning, but as a result, he became an activist, this psychologist, and he was like constantly like telling parents, oh, don't let your kids read comics, and he was writing articles that were getting published in the Reader's Digest and all these places. And the comic book community was actually feeling the effects of it, like, and they were getting really annoyed by this guy, Frederick Wortham, who was basically criticizing comics all the time. So this comic kind of makes fun of him. So this is Frederick Wortham right here. He's all in bondage, and he's got gagged, and he's like, psychiatrist right there. And it has like a little note to him saying comics aren't bad.
That's awesome.
And so Frederick Wortham, when he saw this, he mentioned this one in The Seduction of the Innocent. So this one was also mentioned in The Seduction of the Innocent. So
that is so cool. Now, Spider-Man is asking, do you know how a collection qualifies for a pedigree? That's a very good question.
So it has to be a couple things. It has to be from the original owner. Okay. It has to be a substantial collection of rare books for the most part. And it has to be books that are high grade. So, there are collections out there where they'll say it's like from the collection of, and not call it a pedigree, because generally the books are not in high grade. But you'll notice like the Promise collection, it's like a 9.2. Like they're all high grade copies.
They were known for I had heard about that. Like they were all in pristine condition.
Pristine collections. The most famous collection is the Mile High collection. And that's like, Action 1 and Superman 1 and Batman 1 and all these really big books, but in super, super high grades. Like
what year was that book what year was the book that you just showed us?
That was from 1949.
Wow, 1940.
But 49 is a 9.2. It's like pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what 49. It's 2023. Wow, that's a long time. Like 80, almost 80 years.
Math skills. Long time. 74 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Alan Crabtree wants to know, what is the weirdest part of your collection? You got any really weird stuff?
Let me think of weird ones.
What do you consider weird? I don't know. Like,
I don't know what I like. I'm naturally weird myself, so I don't know.
Yeah. You got any good bondage stuff?
I have lots of good bondage stuff. Here, I'll show you a really cool bondage cover.
I don't know
have to grab it though.
I don't know if that's the weird that you're talking about. I don't necessarily consider it weird, but
I don't consider it too weird. But I'll show you a really cool bondage cover. It's this one.
Yes.
Isn't this awesome? Like, this is great.
Love that.
So this is Airboy, and this is his girlfriend, and she's tied to the propeller. And Airboy is blindfolded, and the bad guys say, "Okay, you can leave as long as you can take off with being blindfolded." So he's taking his girl for a spin. That's what's happening.
What issue? What number is that?
This is Airboy. I forgot what number it is.
Oh, it doesn't say. It doesn't matter. I can find out.
Yeah, it's from 1947. I forget. It's like volume something, issue something. I always forget the numbering.
Now, I always ask everybody that I have on here this: are you more a Marvel guy or a DC guy?
I would be more of a DC guy, actually. I liked Batman. DC? Like I cool. Like mainly in the 90s, I would read more Batman than I didn't really like X-Men at the time, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But I liked Batman. And
cool.
but in terms of collecting, like I didn't really read the X-Men the Marvel titles that much, but I still wanted to have like all the key issues because I did enjoy the TV series. I did enjoy Spider-Man as well. So what I would do is get a lot of key issues from Marvel anyways. I'd still have like I pretty much have all the major keys for Marvel. So yeah. But I actually like old Marvel. Like I like actually Golden Age Marvel a lot.
Yeah. But, what's some of your favorite Golden Age Marvel stuff? So
I like Namora.
Sorry to keep putting you on the spot.
I like Namora as a character.
Oh yeah, I love that character.
Yeah, so I always gravitate to the girls. So
that's an interesting choice too. I like that choice.
Yeah, so Namor is actually a pretty cool character in the Golden Age. And I like I like what's it called? Like Sun Girl and Moon Girl and all these kind of characters, like these
Are you a
female.
fan of the cat and then Hellcat?
Yeah,
Patsy
I
Walker?
also like Patsy Walker. Patsy Walker's Hellcat, right?
Yeah,
So I have Patsy Walker's first appearance, which is in a Marvel book.
that's amazing.
It's
Yeah,
Miss
'cause-
America #2, which is an incredibly hard book to find. I think there's maybe less than 10 on the census. It's a really rare book.
wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to have that. That's an incredible book.
Yeah, so the weirdest part of my collection is myself, probably. I'm pretty weird. I'm a weird guy.
Alan's an awesome guy.
Yeah. So but
What would you say
I
is like your preferred grading service? You're a CGC guy, right?
yeah, but I don't really care.
You don't
I just want
discriminate?
the book to be protected. Like, when I actually did a submission myself, I sent everything to PGX.
Okay.
Because
Why
at the
PGX?
time, it made sense. It was the cheapest. That was one thing. I'm very frugal.
Okay.
But
That's
so
cool.
it's cheapest. They actually had the best customer service, and the turnaround time was quite good.
Oh, okay.
At the time when I had done a submission with a CGC as well, and it took 2 years to get my stuff back from CGC. It took
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
month to get it back from PGX. It's like there was a bit of a difference there, and I
Yeah,
just didn't like the
huge
idea of
difference.
my books being out for a year or two. That was just too crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy. People were waiting years, like literal years to get their stuff
Yeah,
back.
literally, I waited 2 years to get my books. I was like, I was like panicking. I thought, oh man, did they lose them? And it was like some big books, like Avengers #2, and had some really big books that were sent off, and
Yeah.
I was just waiting.
Well, I have a fun question for you.
Mhm.
What are some, and I've seen some of the books in your collection, so I know you have some incredible stuff. What are some of your personal favorites in your collection?
So I did bring one of my like I show this book a lot, but it is one of my favorites. It's obviously like a bigger book. My Wonder Woman 1. I'm a big
What?
Wonder Woman fan. So
Yes.
again, I like the
Wow.
women. So Wonder Woman 1, just kind of.
That's
I always
incredible.
thought this was a cool. I just love this cover too. It's just a great cover.
And the yellow
And
background. I
yellow
love that.
background. The story inside is the story, is really the story from the movie, the first Wonder Woman movie. So
Okay.
it's quite cool. It's like, they did a fairly faithful job of retelling the story of this. So I thought, it's kind of a cool book. It's one of those
I've
ones
never
that you'd
seen that
grab
one.
if there's ever a fire. It's one of the ones I have to grab.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've never seen that in the wild ever. I've never seen that anywhere. That's
Another
incredible.
book that I really love is another Seduction of the Innocent one. This is like Blue Beetle.
Oh man,
It's the Vanishing Bra one. I'm not sure if you can see that, but her bra, she's wearing a bra in the mirror. But she's not wearing a bra.
that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. And you got the guy, like
The thug standing
the
off to the
thug,
side.
ready to do nasty things to her. So it's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
man,
And
I love that.
let me see. I did bring some others. Wait, I brought like a bunch here. I'm gonna show you a bunch. I just gotta grab it though.
Okay,
It's like have all these stacks. I'm just like have like literal stacks are all around me.
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, so I really like this character. As I said, I gravitate towards the women. So this is Miss Mask. It's a
Miss
character. This is
Mask.
Miss Mask. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she's just like so the typical trope of the golden age female character
Mhm.
is a socialite, some rich woman, bored, decides to be a superhero and fight crime. So
Okay.
they put on
I like that.
some really weird costume, and then they go out and fight crime, and usually get like put in bondage or something bad happens to them,
That
and they get
sounds fun.
rescued. Yeah, it's cute. It's stuff. I like. But they always wear these kind of cute, sexy costumes. So this is Miss Mask.
How do
Um,
you see the interiors of them? Like after they're graded, do you find it online and look at them that way?
yeah, yeah. So there's a bunch of sites that I use to read a lot of the Golden Age ones. So
Okay.
but I personally prefer them in the slabs just because I can show them and stuff. So
Yeah, no, I can see why. It's an incredible display. What do you
yeah.
wish more people knew about collecting comics? Alan Crabtree wanted to know.
Well, a couple things. So the two big things that I always try to teach, or maybe three big things. One is make a list. Okay, so as I said, I put on my crazy list. I put Detective 27. I put Action, 1 on it. I put all the
Mhm.
big keys on it.
Yeah.
But my point of that was not to say that these are books that I'll never get. My idea is like if you kind of think about getting those books and focusing on trying to get those books, then you can find a way. There's a way usually that'll come. Like, you do the payment plan, you do like the trade, or you do whatever it takes to get those books that you really want. So that's the first thing, that if you want a book, try to get it.
I
Um,
really like that. Yeah, it's like setting a goal for yourself in a way. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I really like that.
And then to help yourself get it, don't be a stickler on grade. You're not going to get a 9.8 of Action 1. You're not going to get a 9.8 of whatever crazy book it is that you might want. But
Yeah.
if you so when I look for books, a lot of my books are in the lower grades, right? I'll show you a really
Mhm.
cool book, and it kind of illustrates this point. So this book is just a really great book, a really awesome one. This
Oh
is
man.
Brenda Starr number 14. It's considered to be one of the classic Good Girl art covers,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
and this is a conserved grade. Now, the great thing about buying conserved book is
Hmm.
somebody's kind of spent some time to try to maintain this book so that it doesn't fall apart, right?
Okay.
But also it's half price. So,
Okay.
if this was not conserved, it would be like $10,000. You
And so
know,
you pick them up a lot like that. You do that a lot. Get them
yeah.
that way.
So
That's
when I
smart.
showed that Wonder Woman 1,
Yeah.
that's $130,000 book. But
Wow.
I bought it restored. It's restored. It's been
Mhm.
trimmed. And because it's trimmed, it's a like $20,000 book. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not still expensive. I didn't say it's cheap,
Yeah.
but my
Yeah.
point is buying a restored or conserved book can be a really nice way to get into a book that you might not have been able to get. Do you
Ah.
see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah. I
one
like
of
that.
my yeah, so one of the big books that I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's way up there. It's a $400,000 book,
What?
but
Wow.
because it was cleaned. Somebody cleaned it, so it's been cleaned. That gave it
Ah.
the purple label. Okay,
Now, like,
because
what cleaning process did it
if
undergo
you
to
clean the
receive a
staples,
per?
if you clean the
Oh.
staples,
Okay. Okay.
so what happened is it got a purple label, and because of that, instead of being a $400,000 book,
Hmm.
it was a $14,000 book.
All because of that.
Yeah, so I mean,
Wow.
to me, I don't care. I don't care
No,
that it's,
I
who
wouldn't
cares?
either.
I'd actually think that that's a good thing, because if the staples are rusted or have like some issue, they could make the book
Hmm.
fall apart over time. So the fact that it's cleaned is actually a good thing in my opinion. But if
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
willing to, make it worth less, if the concept of things being restored reduces the value,
Hmm.
and I see it as a buying opportunity. I see it as like a way to get a really cool book for a fraction of the cost.
Smart.
So
I think that's very smart.
so that's one of the things I like to teach people is don't be afraid of restored. A lot of people, oh, it has to be a blue label. They're very paranoid about that. Um, but you can buy cool books restored, and generally what I found is actually the restored books actually hold their value better, which is really weird. I actually would have thought it would be the other way around, where blue labels
Yeah.
hold their value better.
Yeah,
But
me too.
yeah, but in the golden age, like I wouldn't buy restored books from the modern era. Like, doesn't make sense. You know, there's just too many out there. You can find a high grade blue label, not a problem. So don't bother getting restored at that point. But
Right.
but in the golden age, what happens is a lot of the collectors kind of have a similar mentality to me, right? Where they want the book, they just can't afford it.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is on the low end of books, like what I mean by low end is on the low grades,
Mhm.
like the 2.0s or 1.0s or the really low grades, and the restored books, which are considered low grade not because of their actual grading, but because of the restoration. What happens is those become entry level books. Just like the way I described the Wonder Woman 1. Well, the Wonder Woman 1, that's $100,000 book.
Mhm.
Because it's restored, it's a $20,000 book. You know, that's a much easier buy-in amount than getting coming up with $100,000. So
Oh
the
yeah.
number of
Yeah.
people competing at that lower price range is higher. So what ends up happening is because there's more people competing for it, it actually holds the value more. So when prices correct or drop, generally they drop at the higher end rather than the
Okay.
lower end, which is really weird. So I found that
Okay.
restored books actually hold their value quite well, which is
That's
interesting.
that's really good advice. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I never
So
would have thought of it that way, but yeah, that's really good advice though. That's solid.
yeah.
Now, do you
So it's,
prefer raw or graded books?
I
Graded,
prefer
obviously.
I prefer
Right.
graded. Yeah.
Okay.
But majority of my collection is raw. Like I have about
Okay.
30,000 comics in my collection,
Wow.
and
30,000.
maybe only 1,000 or 1,500 slabs. So still I have a lot of slabs, but I just think slabs look cool. I'm sort of like one of those people that will buy a slab if it's the cost of a slab. Just because it's a slab. I think it's cool looking. I like the display element of it. I mean, I
Hmm.
think a lot of the comics, like I don't think most people even read their comics. They just like the art element, right? And I
Yeah.
would say I'm the same way. I read a percentage of my comics, but I don't read all of them. And some of them I just love the look of the cover or love knowing that it is like whatever it is. Like I'll show you an example. I love this comic. I haven't read it actually. It's one that I haven't read. I just love this book. This
Richie
is Richie
Rich.
Rich #1.
Wow. Number one. Really
Richie
cool.
Rich number
Another
one.
yellow background, too.
And it's a really great yellow cover, right?
Yes.
Um, and I just love this book.
Hmm.
I love the fact that it's in a case. I know it's safe. It's not going to get damaged. It displays well. I can put it up on my wall, and it says, and then I like the fact that it has all the notes. It tells me, oh, it's from 1960. It's Richie Rich #1. It says who did the art. I love all those kind of notes and stuff. I'm a bit
Yeah.
of a geek that way.
Any
Uh,
notable appearances and all that
yeah,
good
all the
stuff.
key appearances and all that stuff,
Hmm.
and you can flip it around, see the back. The back's
The
lame,
cool
but
ads. Yes, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, the cool ads. I like the ads and stuff. Actually,
I
I'm one
do
of those
too.
people that actually likes the ads.
No, I do too, especially if
I
it's a
really love the
product
ads.
that's like a nostalgic product to me or something.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually, every Friday I do a cover challenge, right?
Yes.
And I actually did a cover challenge where I said, people, don't show your front of the comic, show the back, show the ads, and it was
I
like a
love
cover
that. That's
challenge for
that's a good
the
idea.
ads.
That's
Yeah,
a
so
very original idea. I've never
my
heard of anybody
favorite my
doing that
favorite
before.
ad was Sea Monkeys, so that was my.
Yes, I remember seeing the Sea Monkey ads. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Sea Monkeys, so
Now, is this
yeah.
something you do on your channel, Comic Collector Geek?
Yes, yeah, I do like a Friday cover challenge, and every
Very
week
cool.
I'll have a different challenge. Like you have to show. Like this week, it was Golden Age, which I knew maybe not many people could participate in, but I just wanted to, show some Golden Age books.
Of course, of course.
Next week,
Yes.
I have a different theme. It's going to be, some other theme, and people have to look through the long boxes, find some cool books that meet the theme of the week. And everybody's connected. So the way it works is like we use, the hashtags. So everybody can watch everyone else's top 10 videos, like,
Oh,
so
that's
it's
cool.
kind of fun.
Well,
It's like a little community building activity I do.
yeah, and it is, and it gives people a chance to go through their books and go through their collection, and it's an excuse to dig in your collection. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
It's pure fun. It's just, yeah.
What other? Now, I definitely wanted to talk about, like, time's just flying by talking to you here. I wanted to
Mhm,
talk about your YouTube channel and your Instagram and the stuff that you do on there.
mhm.
What can people expect from your YouTube channel, Comic Collector Geek?
So, my channel, I sort of have like a scheduling. Like I believe I'm sort of like a very old school guy in terms of the way I think. I think of like, back in the day when you watch TV and you have like the TV guide and on Mondays it's this show, on Tuesdays it's this. So I have the
Mhm.
same kind of philosophy with my channel. So like Saturdays it's always interviews. So I'm interviewing some new person each Saturday. And then Sundays
Fun.
I do my top 10 golden age hottest sales of the week kind of thing. And then
Cool.
Mondays I do top silver age. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays I do unboxings where I show some crazy books. And this week actually there's a really crazy book that I will be showing. Just like a
Uh-oh.
really amazing book. Like it's like a treasure. I call it the
If you're
treasure hunt.
saying it's amazing, yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's a big
something.
book. It's a big book. It's a
Yeah,
big book.
I
And
can't
then
wait.
Wednesdays I do my QA where I basically ask, get people to ask me questions and I answer their questions, whatever question that they have about comics. And then I do the research and then find out the answers to them for their questions. And
That's really
then
cool. And
and
you're
then Friday's
nominated
challenge.
for
Yeah.
you got nominated for a CBC award as well. It's
Yeah.
pretty
So we
cool.
both did. Were you double nominated?
No, just one
Just
ongoing
one.
series.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
but
just nominated once as well. But yeah, I was nominated for best unboxing.
that's
So
awesome. That's really
yeah,
cool.
I think
Everybody
my
go vote
unboxings
for.
are good, but sometimes I
I think
forget like all this stuff that I buy. But
I
other than
think
that,
that your unboxings are pretty great. You always have good content on your channel and on your IG too. Tell people about the IG. You put some really fire stuff on your Instagram as well.
so so basically the way I see my IG is whatever I just bought that day or
Yeah.
buying like recent purchases, I should say. I
Mhm.
post on my Instagram. So basically, what happens is if you check out my Instagram, you see the stuff before it comes on my YouTube channel because usually I haven't unboxed it even. I just bought it, literally that day,
So you get a
and
little
I post it.
preview.
Yeah, you get a little preview. So I'm just posting out, and I post out why I buy those books. Usually I'll say, oh, it's the first appearance of, or I'll give a little history about the book as well. So
See you,
yeah,
Roscoe. We'll see you in a little bit, brother.
so
Well,
yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah.
Comic Journey wanted to ask, do you have special lighting in your display room to reduce UV lighting? That's a good question.
So so the way it works is this room is a completely dark room. I actually covered up all the windows. It does have windows, but I put like really thick like blocks on them. I don't know how to describe it, but they're basically blocked. So there's no natural light to this room. And then I use LED lights to light up the room so
Nice.
that all the comics will be protected. I'm very paranoid about that kind of thing. So yeah.
No, I don't blame you. You have a lot of money in those comic books.
Yeah,
Some very beautiful books.
It's pretty crazy collection actually, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's one of the tricks that I do. I don't know. It was better when I was in the basement. It was easier to do. It was a little bit I find there's a lot of natural light that can sneak in, so I have to really keep this room kind of blocked off. But yeah.
Right. Understandable. What do you have coming up in the near future? Like, what can we expect from you in the near future from Comic Collector Geek? What do you got coming up on the channel and on your
Well,
IG and all that good stuff?
so this
Big
week,
news?
as I said, I'm doing like the comic unboxing where I'm hunting. There's like, so whenever I get these comic unboxings, it's like just imagine like a big box, like or three big boxes, and then they get
Mhm.
delivered to me. Because like basically what I do is I send all my stuff to Stackery, and it just
Uh-huh.
gets it's a mail forwarding place, and they
Okay.
basically just collect it all for me, and then after
Okay.
2 months I'll send it here. But I send
Okay.
over like I'll send like 80 orders at once. So it's like
Wow.
3 big, massive boxes. Like the last
Nice.
unboxing was like 200 pounds of comics.
Wow.
Okay. So
That's
what happens is like,
absurd.
so what happened was in this last unboxing, I knew that there was like 2 big books, like 2 like kind of grailish books.
Yep.
But I had no idea because they just mix it all together. They just throw it. They don't know what it's worth, you know. So they just mix it all together. And so I'm like digging to try to find these big books, but I'm just taking out little sections of comics at a time, right? So this week, I think the big Grail book gets revealed. So it's either on Tuesday or Thursday that it'll get revealed. And then on Wednesday, it's just Q&A stuff. I'm not sure whose interview I'm going to put on the end this week. Maybe Dan Parent. He does
That'd be
Archie.
cool. Yeah.
And
That name sounded familiar. That would be awesome.
so I did a pretty great interview with him. He was a really nice guy, actually.
Cool. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait to check that out.
Yeah, so those are some of the things. Yeah.
So you got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. That's cool. Yeah. So guys at home, if you're not subscribed, please go subscribe to Comic Collector Geek. And also he's on IG under the same name, Comic Collector Geek. Please go check him out. Hit that sub button.
Yep.
But man, it was great chatting with you tonight. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me and showing us some killer books and talking to us. It's been a lot of fun. Time flew by too. The hour went by really quick. I had a good time.
It goes by quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
I wanted to
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you. Thanks to all you guys at home who came out to hang out and watch tonight. And I appreciate it. Thanks to all you guys that are at home catching the replay. Next week, I will have, we're going to touch back on some recovery. It's been a little while since we've talked recovery on the channel. So definitely want to kick back to some recovery. We're going to have Charlotte Gaston from Cadus, and she's going to be on here talking about some really cool, interesting recovery stuff. So I can't wait for that. But for now, Between the Lines, I think starts in about 3 minutes. And this week they got CJ Comic Journey, and it's going to be on TM Nerdy's channel, I think. But for now, we will end it as always with some Biggie Shack. We'll see you guys next time. See you next Monday. If I can find it. There we go.
I'd say that one is a banger, man. It's a real certified banger, dude.